Hey there, everybody. It's your brother from another mother, Evil Aniki, and today we're back at it with another Last Week in Anime. And there's been a lot that's happened in the last week. Starting off, strong. I want to congratulate President Bijo here, won with a sweeping victory across the United States. Hololive is absolutely dominating. Uh, I can't believe I've never seen anyone ever get so many electors in my whole life. But this is actually going to lead into our actual first story of the day, which is coming off of TikTok. And this is from a creator named Arcade PhD. And this guy basically, he just does a bunch of arcade games at round one. I think he might go to other places too. But basically, he's just really good at arcade machines. And a lot of the people are really, really mad at him basically, because he's winning all of the round one plushies, and in the comments section, it's very clear. Like, people are like calling him out for being a reseller. He's probably, I think, like if you look at his profile, it looks like he might have like some type of store, or he's selling them online or something. Very clearly a reseller. And he makes a really good point right here, where if they want to avoid this, put up a rule that explicitly states limits. He's all for it, which makes a lot of sense. Round one should definitely have limits on the amount of prizes you could win. I've definitely gone to round one and kind of gamed the system a little bit myself. Anyone who plays round one knows this. But this on his Twitter, on his TikTok, it's not really that big of a concern. But if you go over to Twitter, there was a big post about it here. TikTok scalper sparks outrage after hogging all the plushies from the Hololive crane machines for resale. This gets brought to Maury Callipy's attention, who's sending this to the staff. Scalper responds by saying haters can leave. Scalper also seems to not be aware of Hololive. So it looks like they weren't even a Hololive fan. They're just a typical arcade machine person. And that makes sense. I mean, there's so many different like people who go to like just arcades and are just really good at arcade machines, and they're not necessarily going to be a fan of everything. But it is kind of sad that they are taking these prizes away from people who could possibly be fans. I don't know how much longer the the collaboration is going to be going on, but we'll see. And then this is going to go into, our next segment here, which is just the convention roundup. So this past weekend, there was a lot of conventions. Anime Expo Chibi happened. That's a super, super big one. But there was also Anime Main, Anime San Angelino, Kumori-con, Hizashi-con. I mean, there's so many of them all around. If you went to any of these conventions, let me know down in the comments below. I saw a lot of stuff from Anime Expo Chibi and Kumori-con on Instagram, just because that's like the two closest, I believe, to me. And there's also going to be a lot of conventions coming up next weekend. This is actually the first year in a couple of years where I haven't gone to Anime Pasadena or AX Chibi. And then next weekend is going to be San Diego Anime Con, which I did go to last year, and I'm not going this year. It's in a new location, so really, it's really good because the last location was really, it was a maze like hotel, and I had issues with the hotel as well, so I wasn't a fan of that. So hopefully their new location's better. Sad I'm not going, but there's a bunch of pop-ups here in LA that I have to be doing stuff for instead. And there's just a bunch of cons in general. If you're always trying to find out new cons to go to, I highly recommend checking out animecons.com. There's just a huge plethora of lists. This is where I find a lot of the conventions I go to, just find out about them. But also, a good research, like, a good place to research for more cons is always on Instagram. But speaking of cons, this is going to lead into my next story, which is coming out of Japan, which is for Anime Japan 2025. And this post is all in Japanese, so we can't really read it, but we can translate here. 2025 manga ranking for anime adaptation. Nominations now open. So Anirun, which is their sort of little fan anime contest here, where fans can go on and they can submit different mangas that they would love to see animated into anime. And this can be older titles, this could be newer titles. Usually I think it's mostly for older titles, because a lot of newer titles these days, they just get straight into anime production if they do well. I mean, It's like they either get like 2 chapters or they're like, full blown like, you know, just anime in a week. um but speaking of anime, there is Ghost Cat Anzu, who is going to be coming to theaters, I believe, next week. It's sometime soon. I watched a trailer for it. It looks really cute. It looks like it might be an all ages type of film. Not your typical anime style film. Really, really cute. Looks fun. I might go check this out. It looks good. But going into our next story, this is also a story that's coming out of Japan, and this is going to be the most controversial story of the day, probably, which is MelonBooks. So if you guys don't know who MelonBooks are, MelonBooks is they're a store chain in Japan that sells doujins. And if you don't know what a doujin is like a fan manga in Japan, and they usually lean towards the lewd side of things. So it's like in a lot of Japanese conventions, you don't really see fan art. You don't see like stickers. You don't see posters because that's considered kind of like IP infringement of the character. But you do see doujins, and the reason they're okay with that is because you're writing your own story, right? And usually they tend to lean lewd. And I've been to an actual doujin convention as well in Japan, and there's some wild stuff that you can find out there for really, really cheap. But Melon Books is a big online store. It's a big store in Akiba, and they have a big issue going on at the moment where they are no longer accepting Visa and MasterCard payments. And this has been a big issue in Japan in general. So the last couple years, credit cards have not really been a thing in Japan, and credit cards have been really, really trying to push their way into Japan. It's really, really hard because a lot of the people there just they're like their whole system revolves around like their physical currency, and it does a really good job of that, especially with the trains. You could just drop your coins into the tray and it'll just auto sort it for you, and it's just really handy. But also on top of that, the train card itself is also used like a tap card where you can use it at the 7-Elevens or the Lawsons, or the stores. You can use it all over the place. And in general, like if you want to buy a ticket to a convention, you usually buy it online, but then to go pick up the physical ticket, you go to like a 7-Eleven or a Lawson's, and there's like a ticket printing machine, and they do that a lot for a lot of their events in Japan. And so the reason this is a big deal is so credit card companies have been trying to like get into the Japanese market because obviously credit card companies want to dominate, like they want people in debt to them and whatnot, right? And so they've been doing this, and they've been slowly making traction, especially since COVID. They've been making a lot of traction. And a big thing with this is that there's been chip shortages. So when you go to Japan, it's really, really hard to get the train passes nowadays because there's a chip shortage. And it's not because there's a chip shortage, it's because the credit card companies have been trying to make a chip shortage so that way they can, make people use credit cards as opposed to getting train passes. And the downside with credit cards is when you have credit cards like Visa and MasterCard, they can now dictate where you can't spend your money. And so Melon Books, because they deal with a lot of adult material, they are their payments are getting declined. So now I believe they're starting in mid-December, like December 19th, they're no longer going to be accepting Visa and MasterCard. They'll still be accepting American Express and JCB. I don't know. I've never heard of JCB. It must be some other, credit card company. But you're still going to be able to use it for pre-orders and down payments. But then once it comes time to actually pay for it, you have to use your proper card. And it looks like they are going to be settling this with some sort of way to fix this, where they're going to be doing some like in-store currency. But this is also going to be like you buy online and then you have to go to the store and pay it physically. It's a weird scenario. I don't know how I feel about this. I get where the credit cards are companies are coming from, because it's like when you buy something with a credit card, you're definitely liable for, like, the credit card companies are sort of liable for what you buy, right? But also at the same time, they're putting American values onto, Japanese goods, using American standards. Because I mean, stores that have been, Melon Books has been around for a long time, and so it's just a really weird thing for them to be doing this. And and I know there's a lot of stuff that, probably wouldn't fly in America that they're selling, but also at the same time, like, I don't really see how an American company is like, imposing its values onto a Japanese company. I mainly think this is for online orders. This is affecting online orders the most, probably. And yeah, it's just a weird scenario. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think of this down in the comments below. Uh, but yeah, let's just keep moving on. This is probably the biggest story. That's probably like the biggest, most controversial out of all the stories. But moving on, Union Arena just came up with an update. They have a training app. I didn't know they had a training app for Union Arena, but they just added Jujutsu Kaisen to the app, so really cool. And speaking of Jujutsu Kaisen Phantom Parade is now out. I've been playing it a little bit, and they have a pop-up in downtown Los Angeles. I talked about this in the last video, and they had streamed a little bit of it on the launch day, and it looks like they've privated the stream. It looked cool. It's a pretty big pop-up display. I'm gonna be honest, for the location they got, it's a really big pop-up, and I'm really, really shocked by that. I'm going to be going on Saturday to check it out. I'm excited for that. And yeah, just stay tuned for that because I'll probably have a little video on that. But moving on, speaking of pop-ups, Happy Lemon, which is a tea shop, they're all over the place. There's a whole bunch of different locations throughout Washington, Portland, San Diego, Arizona, California, Texas. They've got a lot of different locations. They're actually doing a pop-up collaboration with Genshin Impact. This is really, really cool. They're having two specialty drinks, one for Klee and then another one for Jean. And I'm gonna go check this out. They're actually gonna have one of the so on top of having the physical stores, they're also having a food truck go throughout LA because they don't have as many stores in LA, which is shocking. They're all over in Washington and NorCal. Don't really have any stores in LA. I think there's one in OC, but they're having a food truck go through LA. So through Ontario, Glendale, Orange County, and then back to Ontario. And this is really cool. They're actually having cosplayers come out to some of these. I don't know where I saw the cosplayer post. Maybe it was on this one. Yeah, here. They're going to have a few cosplayers, and they're going to be doing some raffles and prizes, and it seems like a really fun time. So I'm going to be checking this out. But they're going to have exclusive merch, which you can sort of see here. I don't know what this character is. This they call it a dodoko. I've never heard of a dodoko. I don't know if I'm not too caught up on Genshin stuff, but I've never heard of it. But they have some different categories here. You can get like a bunch of a cup sleeve and a bag, stickers, and an in-game rewards card, or you can get like a tumbler, and they've got a bunch of different combo sets you can get. I'm definitely gonna go. I'm probably gonna get the Gene one because this one I think has it's cream and sky cream and Oreo, whereas the Klee one it has Pop Rocks on it. Yeah, pink cream and Pop Rocks. I really like Klee, but I don't want to drink with Pop Rocks. Like that's just I mean, I get that, it's fun, but it's just kind of uh I'm not really into like sugary hard candies, and Pop Rocks are kind of like in that, and it's just not my thing. But this is a really cool collab. If you're in these areas, be sure to check it out. Moving along, going back to there's no more Jujutsu Kaisen. Moving along, we're gonna cover some Ami Ami news. So this is the end of the video for you guys. Ami Ami, we're gonna do a wrap up of this week's new items. Let's see. Looks like Blue Archives is getting some new figures. There's a new Genshin figure for pre-order. A new Bunny Girl here. That looks cute. Looks like Gushing Over Magical Girls is getting a figure. Let's see if I can open this one. Oh, it looks like there's a Cowboy Bebop pre-order as well. Looks like there's some pretty cool figure. Looks like a lot of shirts. um, I think this is all for Yakuza. A lot of Yakuza merch on Ami Ami that you can get for pre-order at the moment. And I don't know who this character is, but let's look at this one. This one seems to be very popular at the moment. It's always like you never know what you're going to get. And it looks like there's even more Nikkei stuff that they've added to the Ami Ami pre-order list. Always good to see that. But let's check these out. Oh my god. I've been getting this. Ami Ami's been having the horrible traffic. So this is a nice figure, Gushing Over Magical Girls. Love this anime. It's for adults, so be sure to only watch it if you're an adult. But this is a nice figure. What's this one? This one is the Cowboy Bebop figure. This one looks cool. The swordfish. That's nice. This is $230 though. Pretty pricey. Again, man, they've been having issues loading, and this is a really cute one. This is exclusive sale original chibi figure DLC series Tea Time Cats Lemon Cat. Yeah, lemons and cats today, huh? This is a really cute figure. I like how it's like in a teacup. That's really cute. This is not expensive too. This is only $70. That's not bad. That's really really cheap. This must be a small figure then. Usually the more expensive they are, the bigger. And then of course we have to end the Ami Ami on these delicious and dungeon plushies, and these are like $20 and $15. With shipping it'll probably be like $5 or $10, right, from Japan. But these are the plushie, the familiars that they make out of the dragon blood or whatever, I believe, monster blood. And these are super cool. This is the worm shaped one that's really fast, and then this is the bird one. These are cool, and these are very very popular. People are going crazy about these on Instagram. I might end up picking. These are really cheap. I might end up picking up one of these myself. I don't know. I mean, they seem really easy to make, so I get why they're super cheap. But it might be even cheaper just to like find someone local who makes them, like as like an artist alley, because there's no way. I guarantee you could find someone to make this for cheaper than $20, because $20 plus some shipping, and also April 2025 shipping. When is this one? Oh, this one's already out. So this one you could buy right away. This one you have to wait, unfortunately, like 6, 7 months for this one, unfortunately, which is a bummer. But that brings us to the end of the video today, guys. Please let me know down in the comments below what you guys thought of today's stories. If there's anything I missed that I should be talking about, if there's anything that's coming up in the next week that you guys think I should be talking about next weekend. If you guys went to any of the conventions that happened, let me know. I love conventions and I want to know more about conventions. And if you're a cosplayer or a vlogger or whatever, please leave a comment down below so I can follow you and I can learn more about conventions around the world. I really want to start traveling more and going to like different countries to like see more conventions in different places, because that's the cool thing now is like I'm kind of tired of like doing conventions in just the LA area, and I want to sort of travel around and see conventions all around the world, like in different countries and like and just see different venues. Like I'm gonna be honest. I've been to the LA Convention Center one too many times. I'm tired of going there. But that's it for today's video, guys. Be sure to like, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye bye.